The gang's all here. So, since this is being streamed, would you like me to do like a rundown at the beginning when we start?
I mean, it's typical.
Yeah. All right, so just let me know when we are beginning.
Well, you've been beginning for the last 3 to 4 minutes, technically.
I see.
I do editing where I just cut off where you actually begin when I put it to YouTube, so.
At least according to my time, we're right on time.
According to my time, we're 2 minutes past.
Aha! Adjust your clock to be lazy like mine.
Or
All
adjust
right.
your clock to be on time, like mine.
Never.
So let me move you fools here. Okay. So, wait. They were here? Yeah. Okay. So, the year is 20XX, and the world is looking pretty, bad. Sea levels have risen, the Earth has become quite toxic, and most of the people still alive have congregated in the megacities. There are 6 scattered around the globe, but this story will be taking place in Megacity 4 on the European continent. Corruption and oppression have run rampant in the city, and it's only been a matter of time before heroes start to step up into the limelight to give the city a little bit of hope. And that's where we're going to encounter our heroes. All right, so we're going to start off with, I'm going to butcher his name. I need his full name. Benumesis?
Benumzes, like Ramses.
Benumzes.
We should just have a different pronunciation every time.
But of course, these days he doesn't go by any of his ancient names, he goes by Benjamin Seas. Which he figures everyone has much less trouble trying to pronounce.
Indeed. So today is an average day for Ben. And how do you wake up in the morning? And what are his surroundings?
Well, he lives off in one of the nicer districts. I can't remember the name immediately off of it, but he lives up in one of the higher levels of it. Wakes up to the morning sun just casting straight into his bed, right into his eyes like he likes it. And of course, wakes up, greets the world, bathrobe and very little else on, straight to his veranda and just opens up, stretches, and creates a cup of coffee in his hands.
Nice.
And he just sits there looking out on the city, looking from one side where it's this lush green mountain terrace city, and on the other, right across the wall, probably absolute terror and disgusting pollution.
Yes. So
this is where I live.
Yes. So Ben is currently in the sector of Alpina. It is one of the nicer districts in the city, and one of the few places that actually has some green to the hills. As you can probably guess, he is a somewhat wealthy man, but let's just say he doesn't get his wealth from traditional means.
A little bit of that, and a little bit of this. He does in fact own and run a business, of which he has a website splash page opened on his laptop. Let's see what that says. On Fire Designs, long-standing history of quality, dedicated to our customers for all of your event-related merchandise needs.
So you kind of crack a smile at the handiwork of his company, but things are not all good. Your business has taken a bit of a dive recently, with people not so eager to spend their money now that a recession is coming on.
I can only blame myself for not getting more customers.
Yeah. In fact, due to your high-rise having a veranda and indeed windows, rent is quite steep. So you're starting to worry about paying rent this particular month, seeing as your extravagant lifestyle can leave you a bit surprised at your own spending habits sometimes.
I look sadly over at my golden throne and... breathe a sigh. Well, I guess I could part with something and
Is
create
is
more
it-
gold in my hand.
Is this the new flushable golden throne?
Oh, absolutely. Now, if you gotta go in style.
Yes.
Might as well be shiny.
So as you are padding around your opulent penthouse, we go to a completely different part of the city. This one is known as Côte Noire. And here we find another hero that goes by the name of Scrap. Scrap, how do you wake up this morning?
Well, let's see. I wake up somewhere, probably wherever I could find. Today it's the top shelf, Jesus, the floor above what used to be a coffee shop, that used to be a restaurant, that used to be a pawn shop. It's changed in about 6 months. They just can't seem to get a foothold here, but no one ever lives up here.
The
So-
bank is really raking in the money from all these different tenants. They have to keep selling it off.
No one's making money here. This is all terrible for everyone involved. But he's on resting on I think just tattered clothes that he found around. But he gets up, he has his shirt just kind of across the room, picks it up, gives the smell test, kind of shrugs, puts it back on. He pops his head out the window, takes a deep breath, and it smells exactly how it smelled yesterday. Pollution and depression.
Excellent.
Never known anything better or anything else. He then kind of walks over to the small little pile of clothes that he had as a pillow and puts on the large mechanical gloves that he had sitting under there. Because, I mean, no one's found it yet, and it's worked out so far, so why doesn't he just keep doing it? He flips them on, and they kind of crackle and spark with electricity. And he walks over to the other. Well, it's barely a window at this point. It's more of a shade just because of all the smudges on it. But he gives it a nice big tug, and it kind of breaks off in his hands a bit. And so the window kind of shatters a bit. And he stops and stares. And he puts his head out the window, and he sees a large pile of junk that's just kind of sitting against the wall, slumped. And with a little like pointing and yelling, it reaches up a kind of mangled hand and pulls him down into the alleyway below. And it's time to find some breakfast.
All right, nice. And but a few blocks over, we come to our third and final earthly hero, Arson. How do you wake up this fine, disgusting morning?
Most likely having face planted on his work desk, and having been working late into the night as usual on project, although lately this project is a bit more compelling and frightening at the same time. Kind of wipes his face a little bit, blinking, trying to make his eyes focus. Epic, did the diagnostics finish running? Is everything okay?
Oh, apologies, sir. I wasn't looking. And then there's a silence for about 5 seconds, like, diagnostic complete. We have a success, sir. Congratulations.
Oh, I don't know if I should feel good about it or not, but we got to do something. And if I got this suit, I might as well use it, right?
Affirmative. You could be a great benefit to society, sir.
Maybe keep my head attached to my neck at the same time. All right, I'm gonna give it one more look over here, and then maybe we can see about doing something with it. And he gets up, kind of stretches a little bit, and then heads over to where there's this very high-tech suit of armor sitting half disassembled on a stand. And he starts looking over bits and pieces, making sure everything's finally ready to go.
Everything seems to be in order. It's a bit scuffed up, but you can make it work.
All right, let's put it on. And he starts going through the process of getting it, everything attached and turned on and everything. If nothing else, he's going to at least take it through a flight check today. But
All right. As you are strapping it on, Epic starts talking in your ear. Sir, I have some disappointing news. When I acquired the latest schematics for this repair, I was forced to divulge some of the funds in order to get it.
All right, how far down are we?
5,000 in the hole.
And unfortunately, that last project flopped, so we don't have a seller for it. All right, I'll start thinking about something else to send out. See if we can figure up something that's going on.
Right away, sir. After a couple seconds of silence, it pipes up again. Sir, I have a location of a nearby pawn and auction. It seems to be a fairly reputable source, and I believe we can get some technology on the market from there.
All right, we'll take Project 37. It's pretty low tech, not much higher than stuff that's going on. Shouldn't be traceable back to us.
Yes, Project 37, that was an interesting experiment.
Yeah. Fortunately, it's stable now and won't blow up in people's faces when they look at it cross-eyed. Alright.
Poor Jim.
Well,
All right. Now, we're going to briefly go back to Scrap at the moment. Scrap.
Yes.
After you've after you've managed to, let's just say, acquire breakfast, I assume you're doing your usual of picking through any refuse around the recycling piles. And
Yeah, mostly just trying.
yeah, and you find something that looks quite interesting pinned beneath an old car wreck. Seems to glitter from the dark at you.
I mean, I can't lift a car. Well, oh wait a second. I can lift a car now. I used to be able to, but I will have a pile just kind of like wedge his arm in there, and I'll lift it up just so he can hold it, and I'll see what we can get in there.
All right. So you managed to poke. So Pile lumbers over, sticks his hand in the car, and you can. Yeah. Wait, are you actually the one lifting the car?
I mean, we can. I'm pretty sure both of us can lift the car, but like, we're gonna put it back because if we like throw it away, it's gonna make a lot of noise. So he's kind of lifting it, like kind of tilting it upwards,
Yeah.
so I can get in there and do the stuff. And his arms he'll be fine.
Yeah. So he wrenches the car up a little ways, and you can crawl underneath. You see this, what looks like a small greenish capsule, and it actually has something similar printed on it that you feel like you've seen it somewhere before. Make a insight check, please.
Oh, what the hell? What is my? Oh yeah, this is gonna be great.
this
I have 3 whole insight here. Wait, no, this is pile. That makes sense. I'm like, why is my insight so low? I just want to put things in there. Okay, that's much better. Let's try.
Oh,
Yeah, I think I got it.
jeez. Coming out swinging. First roll of the game, everybody.
Everything else is gonna miss from this one on.
Yes. All right. So, you find the small capsule and you recognize it has the same symbol on it that was stamped on your gloves. It looks like the top part of a sword, the crossguard and pommel, and it is broken down on the blade.
Scrap kind of looks at it, kind of twists it around in his hand, just kind of getting a nice look at it. And of course, it's probably beat to shit, right? It's probably beat to shit. Like it probably looks seen better days.
Yeah, it does look a bit banged up, but due to your godly insight check, you can probably reckon whatever this thing is, it's got to be pretty high tech and probably fetch a pretty penny.
There's someone always out there looking for the dumbest stuff. He will kind of toss it in like his scrappy backpack. No, not okay, kind of nonchalantly, just like, oh, and there it goes. And I'll buckle it up, and I'll put it back on, and I'll kind of scramble back out, and then give Pile the signal to just kind of set it down nice and quiet.
All right, so he slowly lowers. So he slowly lowers the car back down to the ground, and you keep picking through the pile. So,
yeah, good stuff.
So Ben, are you just gonna sell some raw gold?
Well, this isn't the first time that I've done it, and I do definitely have some sort of broker for exactly this sort of scenario.
Indeed,
This
you
is probably
do.
the time where I'm probably sending a message and going, "Are you okay for our monthly arrangements?"
So you ring up Raleigh's Purveyances and Auction. He's been the guy you've been selling your gold to for the past few months. And he seems like an okay guy. Knows how to keep his mouth shut and not question where multiple bars of gold come from.
Indeed, of course.
So you call him up and he's like, Benjamin, pleasure. Do we have merchandise to provide?
Ooh, do you have anything good this time around?
Oh,
I'm always looking to buy stuff, even if I need a bit of cash too.
Oh, bits and bobs. Recently had a archaeological find that came back from Mega City 3, I believe, in Africa. That sounds like your MO. Hmm?
Ooh, yes. Always on the lookout for something nice and pretty from there. Any
Pleasure.
hints this time, or am I gonna have to actually come over and see it?
Ooh, I'm afraid you'll have to see for yourself. We're having an auction this afternoon.
You got me again. I guess I'm just gonna have to come over and say hello.
I guess you are.
Alright.
All right.
So go ahead and hang up on that. Get nice and dressed, one of the few servants I have around here, comes through, sweeps up, offers up like a nice clean press suit. And of course, breakfast, finally. For real. Not just coffee. At which point, I will do my thing of course, turning into a bird and flying across the city, roughly without being seen. And then once I'm in a designated place where I think I am not seen, of course, transform the rest of the way to my destination.
Transform into a bird, as you do.
As one does, of course, one wonders who this person is that he creates a golden coffee and turns into a bird. What else can he possibly do?
I don't know.
But
Okay.
yes, no one will quite notice the likes of a giant heron flying across the city, necessarily.
Nah.
Except the bird watchers. Gotta watch
Yeah.
them.
And the really hungry people looking for an easy meal.
I mean, what do they think the bird is? It's like, oh, like, wait, no, why are there bird watchers in a city? It's like, yes. Ah, yes, another pigeon. Oh, good, crows.
Well, you could probably find a few in Alpina.
Well, I mean, given that if the way Transform is worded, you stay the same mass, I mean, think of like a 280-pound pigeon. I'm not sure most people would want to mess with that.
Really desperate, really hungry.
Yeah.
Nor one flying at jetliner levels of altitude.
Yes. All right. So, Scrap, you have attained a sizable pile of salvage, and you reckon you can probably find a place to hawk it now.
Well, I got a pawn shop down at the corner. And he's just got it's run by an old guy named Dead Man. Just because he's really old. That's the joke. But
Okay.
I don't know if he's open today. He said he wasn't feeling too good yesterday. I'll have to look around.
I don't feel so good. You just come back as a pile of ash.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. The guy is older than dirt. So I mean, I'm not exactly gonna go riding around on Pile through the streets. So let's see here. How can I pull this off? We're at the scrapyard right now. I just tell him, just play dead. And I just
he
kinda shrug.
immediately disintegrates.
I forgot he can do that. And I give him finger guns, and then I wander off. There's probably a few places around here I can hawk this stuff at.
Mm-hmm. The closest that you've used before goes by the name of Rowley's Purveyances and Auction. For even though they have a quite upper class version of their establishment, the building goes quite deep into the Undercity, and there is a small little pawn shop at the bottom that is connected.
It's not my first choice, but it's the closest choice.
Yeah, and plus, even though the sun has risen at the bottom of the stacks, it is still pretty dark, and there are a few unsavory individuals prowling about.
Oh no, unsavory individuals. I could avoid them before, but I can disintegrate them now. It's not a big deal. Not that I would. Yeah, we'll deal with it when it comes to that. Like it's all it takes is one punch.
Yeah. So, you head up to. So you head up to Raleigh's Purveyances and Auction. Unbeknownst to you, Benjamin is doing the exact same thing, about 200 feet up on the upper level. And now we're going to go back to Arsenal.
All right. Well, if I'm going to go to this auction, I definitely can't go out in the suit, so I guess I will get back into some regular clothes. And it's just kind of, it's definitely lower level kind of things. This is somebody who's obviously lived not as bad as Scrap, but somebody who's lived in the lower sections of the city most of his life, and he's used to it. It's kind of a long coat that's shabby, simple shirt and slacks under it. All seen better days, but serviceable and in decent condition. He's also got a satchel over his shoulder with a couple pieces of equipment that he's gonna sell off. Some things he's tinkered together, and heads on and checking to make sure there's nobody paying attention to the outside of his warehouse. He heads out and kind of makes his way through. Throws a quick sign to the gangers that control the area, just because he's got an agreement with them. He pays them off a little bit. They don't mess with this stuff.
Yeah, they kind of like nod at you a little bit and then go back to rolling dice.
Yep. And head to this purveyor of moderately fine goods.
Moderately fine goods. Purveyor of at best okay equipment. All right. So you all quite conveniently
Oh my god, the fates!
go
The
to
fates.
the same place for your own separate reasons. Now, when you enter Arsenal, you are entering at the middle entrance, so you probably have to take a slight elevator trip upwards,
Okay.
but you're really beyond the pay grade of the lower shop.
Yeah.
So you enter,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks fairly similar to a regular pawn shop, except the things being pawned are quite a bit more interesting. You have, of course, the usual like kind of faded TV sets and weird stuffed creatures, but you also have things like a plasma ball that kind of sparks to different parts of the room every once in a while. You have what looks like a three-headed frog. It's about the size of a large dog squatting in the corner.
Hmm.
It's quite interesting, but you've seen your fair share of weird stuff in the city.
Yeah.
There is a extremely gaunt-looking man poring over a large volume at the counter. He doesn't notice you entering.
Hello, sir. Here to try to sell a few things.
Well, let's see it.
Walks over, sets the bag down, starts pulling out various pieces of equipment he's cobbled together or invented, and starts explaining different things. It's like, well, this one here is a much more powerful signal booster. It's good for getting cell data and net data further down at the lower levels. As you can see, it's very compact, very easy to power, and then it starts going on different things like that. It's interesting tech. It's all slightly above the norm, but nothing that would really make anybody's bells ring.
Mm-hmm. And as you're talking about the technical aspects, you can just see his eyes start to glaze over. but when you mention some of the more common items, you kind of regain his attention. He's like,
Yeah.
all right, I can see us having a few buyers that'll be interested in this.
I'm also willing for this a couple of these items. I am willing to sell the blueprints. but that's going to be something separate. So if you do, I don't know what your normal clientele is, but if there's the kind of people who would be interested in investing, so to speak, I'm willing to sell the blueprints on these.
Ah, well, now that you mentioned, we have an auction going on upstairs with several very wealthy buyers that could be interested in your pack.
Can I
But-
get an invitation to that then?
I'd say due to this spread of technology, I'd say you could earn one.
Good, good. What must I do?
Just take the elevator at the back and show them this. He gives you like a small, like pearl white card.
Thank you, good sir. Take the stuff, put it back in the bag, and start heading for the back.
All right. So scrap. Bottom section. Now you go through the revolving door. It kind of like squeaks when you go through. And this place is dusty. And there are quite a few more weapons on the shelves here. There is
It happens
a
from time to time.
Hmm?
Said that happens, you know.
Yeah.
Stuff.
And there is one morbidly obese man sitting behind the counter. It looks like he's had 2 eye patches on.
Do I know this guy's name?
You know him as Hank.
Hang?
Hank.
Oh, Hank. I was like, damn, his name's Hank. That's metal.
I thought he said, huh?
Hey,
name's
2 eye patches. He's probably a pirate too.
He's had a rough life, man. But sky piracy just does not pay out as well as it used to.
So it's like as soon as the door opens and you start walking across the shop, he kind of like twists his head a little bit and he's like, "Scrap. Is that you, boy?"
Yeah, Hank, you biter. It's me.
Yeah.
Got some junk? Yeah, it's always junk. Ah,
Yeah. Right. Yeah, but I gotta say, your junk's some of the better. You know, some guy here came into my shop, tried to sell me wine like he couldn't tell. Like I couldn't tell.
He's telling you what?
He said they was Brazilian sandalwood. Said they were figurines. I could feel them. They were corks. Ridiculous.
Oh my god. People these days out for anything. Not willing to work their hands to the bone.
Yeah, not willing to work their hands to the bone, but you know how I deal with those types. And he taps a jar outside the table with several pickled fingers floating in it.
I mean, Hank, you've shown that to me before. It's impressive every time. Yes, and I clap, and it's large. It's like kind of loud and mechanical, but I clap. Good job, Hank. It's fine. I'm just giving you shit. All right, let's get down to business.
All right, what you got, bro?
And I huff. I really don't have to half the backpack anymore. I just kind of like hop, and just throw it up on top of the counter. Large mechanical clanging. I empty everything out. I'm like, all right, I got what appears to be a small piece of an old hovercraft engine. I'm not sure what it does, but it's shiny, and I think this little fan bit still runs. And he kind of slides stuff to the side, and I got a bunch of other stuff. I don't know. Your hands are better than my eyes.
All right, yeah, well, I got the magic hands. And he starts like holding and running his hands over all your equipment. Like he gives the fan a little spin, and like every once in a while he like marks something down in his notebook. It looks like gibberish to you, but apparently he has books full of the stuff, and he's going to pass over everything with like small nods and like little sounds of assent. But then when he gets to the little pod with the symbol on it, he kind of like stops, runs his hands over it a couple more times. He's like, "Where do you find it?"
Down. Yeah, what was it? Down on 433rd, about 3 blocks down.
433rd.
Yeah.
Hey, you should keep away from that part. I hear the gangs are starting moving on that territory.
Listen, you and me both know I'm tougher than any gangs that anyone could show up. I mean, I've lived here this long by myself. Like, I can
course.
take a few gangbangers with a chip on their shoulder.
Of course. I shouldn't have doubted. And but this thing right here, I think this is some serious business. Yeah, this looks like Mordhau tech. You don't want to get caught up with those fellas.
Mortal.
Mordau, yeah. They're a military contractor. Do a bit of R&D around the city. They got a lot of fingers and a lot of pies, if you know what I mean.
I mean, they're lucky to have a lot of fingers put in a lot of pies. I haven't had a pie since, jeez, since I stole one a few months back. But still, it's been a while.
It has been a while.
But yeah, that Mortal stuff. He kind of points down to. I know you can't see it, but like him pointing. But he's like, so you willing to buy it, or is it too hot for you?
Might be a bit too hot, but upstairs, Raleigh, I know for a fact does some of his deals a bit under the table.
All right, I think I met Raleigh once. He kicked me out. Is there any way to make it so he doesn't do that again?
Yeah, Raleigh is a bit of a prick, but here, I got a shower in back. I'll wash the shop front here. I got some spare clothes as well. You can look a bit more respectable, and I can give you a card to get up to there. How's that sound?
Oh my goodness, Hank, you have never been so nice in your life. I think you're getting senile.
That came out so fast. It's like, oh, you're so nice, Hank. You're senile. All right, anyway.
But I mean, I'm already walking back when I'm saying that, so he can't take it back.
Yeah, so he goes, hey, I might not be so generous in the future.
Yeah, well, hey, if this Mortal thing is worth more than you think it is, I'm not even gonna talk to you ever again. I might finally get out of this dump.
Consider a finder's fee, my friend.
Yeah. We'll see how it pans out, and I'll laugh at you later or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, whatever. I don't need way. And you go into the back. You can wash off in a little hygiene pod. And you have like just this basic like blue but clean jumpsuit.
Jumpsuit. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I don't know why sure he has this in his. I'm not gonna ask questions. Whatever.
Don't ask questions.
It's not worth it here.
And when you come out, he's like, "Here, it should get you on the elevator at the top level." And he hands you a white key card. But I want to get that back, all right?
I'll make sure that this. Listen, you've been good to me so far. I won't screw you now.
All right. And he taps the jar of fingers.
I mean, he grabs the card.
He laughs as you leave. So, you can make your way up to the top. Now,
yes, I will.
Due to time shenanigans and this not all being in order, you all arrive at the same time!
Wow!
Amazing.
In the same elevator that we didn't start in the same elevator.
No, you do not. You're on the same elevator, but you do arrive at the top approximately the same time. Like one of you steps out, another of you gets off like a little ways away.
Yeah, I was poking fun.
Mm-hmm. And there is a throng of people entering this swanky entrance up at the top level. Now, Scrap, you aren't usually allowed to get up this high because you don't have the cards to access the elevators. So this stuff is very, very nice.
I mean, probably. I don't even know what to think about it. Like it's culture shock right now a little bit.
Yeah. And as they're moving around through this throng of people, you can see the other two, but you don't recognize them. Same for the other two players. You all kind of, avoid eye contact with each other. And you finally enter the building.
The auction floor.
Yes, the auction floor. You have a number of very well-dressed individuals arrayed in a circular fashion around a raised dais. And there is Rowley standing in the middle. He is about 4 feet tall and completely bald. And he's just going at it with the auctioneer speak. You cannot tell what he is saying. But the paddles are going up and people are buying something.
I want that plastic pink flamingo from the 2000s. Give it to me.
Wow!
$20.
$20. All right. So the auction floor is the main part of this area, but you can also access different like private buying and selling galleries if you want to get rid of any of your stuff or find any curios wholesale.
Right, and I do believe I have a meeting arranged for exactly this purpose. Obviously,
Indeed.
to turn to cash and/or auction credit,
Mm-hmm.
depending on what I buy today.
Yes.
So I slip away into one of the sides room and meet my contact, handle
Yes.
business.
So your contact today is a Miss Collins. She's sitting behind a mountain of papers, plugging away at it on a computer. And as you come in, there's like a little ding from the door. And she's like, ah. Oh, wait, shit, I forget your actual name.
Benjamin C's.
Okay.
So Mr. C's.
Ah, Mr. C's. Are you here for the transfer?
Oh, absolutely, Miss Collins. And oh, might I say, you're just looking lovely today. Is that a new hair bun?
Make a. Actually,
I am double attractive and very high in persuasion. If you want to make me roll a slight seduction roll,
do it.
let's do it. Am I attractive to her?
Yes.
Alright, I believe, and I'm double checking it, I think that's a +8 or a +10. It's a +10. So this is going to be silly, which is... I'm sorry, that's perception.
Okay. I was
like, yeah, real quick.
Also,
Good
I
job.
learned that it doesn't ask you for bonuses, so I'm going to put it over here on the side real quick. Bam, there we go. The real roll with +22, a 35.
Plus 22. What? Okay.
Yes, when someone finds me attractive.
So, like, you just kind of put the old sizzle on her, and she just kind
Oh,
of like,
yeah.
and she just blushes a little bit. It's like, Benjamin, I'm working.
Oh, you're not working later, right? I
She's
know
like,
it's only once a month, but we could always go get coffee again.
I think I'd like that.
Work first, I suppose. Work first. I'm not going to... I can't possibly make you, well... and I'll just, like, turn, blush, and do that whole deal, too.
It's like, all right, to business. She takes a scale out from underneath the table and puts it on the countertop, and she's like, how much do you have?
Oh, well, about the usual amount, and knowing what I probably intend to buy, probably a little bit too much. So let's see what I have. I will go ahead and pull out the satchel bag at my side, and start pulling out gold bar after gold bar after gold bar, making a nice, neat little pyramid first, and then helping to weigh each bar.
All right.
Since we don't have like actual numbers here, and they probably aren't too important, it's going to be quote enough, if that's okay.
Yeah. So she's like, all right. Well, I guess I probably shouldn't ask where this stuff comes from, so I'll just assume you had a fine inheritance.
Oh, you wouldn't believe.
All right, so she walks back to the back of the office, plugs in a complicated code on a keypad, says authorization code 1284Z, and you hear this rumbling sound as a vault slides out of the floor.
Ooh.
And she's going to give it a spin, open it up, select several stacks of crisp bills, and hand it to you in a discreet brown paper bag. Very official.
Let's see. I'll go ahead and like look through a little bit of it and sort of count out like I need this much for rent. I probably want this much disposable, and then probably push like a portion back and go. This is probably what I'm going to spend here today. If you wouldn't mind putting that onto my credit, I'll just go ahead and start auctioning that off.
Of course. All right. And it's like, oh, and is that coffee thing still happening?
Oh, absolutely. What time do you get off, by the way?
6.
6. All right. And I'll go ahead and arrange plans to meet her at whatever nice and hot coffee place there is. Whatever
Yeah.
future Starbucks looks like. I don't know.
Yeah.
Starbucks
All right.
Megacorp.
Mm-hmm. So we move over to Scrap. So you're going through, and you're kind of overwhelmed by everything that's going on around here. There's all these weird sights and sounds and smells, but you can pick out the familiar sign representing a fence.
Now, before I go there, is there a buffet?
There is a cafe.
Damn it. I was hoping I could steal something. I mean, I'm here to do business, so it will be using it, I guess. But if there isn't, I will make my way towards the fence.
All right.
Or the guy that I was told to meet anyway.
Mm-hmm. So you open up the door to the fence, and as soon as you open it, you just hear one guy shouting at another guy before something smashes, and you enter the second door, and there's a guy storming out with the other person with a hand on his belt. So the man behind the desk has a hand on his belt, and there's a rather angry-looking man storming towards the door where you are.
Why? I'm not gonna have shots be fired. I'll take a step to the side real fast. He's sleeping.
He glares at you a little, and then barges out through the door.
I glare at him, even though he can't see me, like as he's walking away.
You glare at the back of his head.
Yeah, fuck him. And then I'll go inside.
All right. So you go inside, and the man behind the desk seems to calm himself down a bit, and it's like, oh, hello, little boy. Are you looking for someone?
No. Cut that. We're doing business right now. Hey, Hank set me up here. He said you were trustworthy. Are you trustworthy?
Yes, Hank. I suppose I'm trustworthy.
All right. With a dramatic flair, I walk to the desk, and with a dramatic flair, I kind of just I don't want to say slam, but I kind of slam it onto the counter. The thing what was the name of the tech place again?
Mordhau.
Kind of slam it on the desk. So my glove is kind of covering most of it, and then I kind of remove it dramatically.
So as you remove it dramatically, his eyes widen dramatically, and he immediately reaches into his desk and he pulls out a little magnifying lens for his eye. And he looks down at it and he's like,
"Wait, does he only have one eye?"
He does now.
Okay, he said for his eye, and I'm like, no way. Are they just going? Is the boss man have 2 eyes and everyone below him just has 1 or less?
That would be hilarious.
Okay. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Holds it up to his eye and he's like, "Oh, where did you find this?"
Well, it depends on how much it's worth. I might tell you where I might find more.
Well, I think it might be worth quite a bit. You've made quite the find here, boy.
Mm-hmm. I knew it as soon as I saw it. I was like, this thing gonna set me out.
So he reaches in and is like, all right, I'm gonna cut you a deal.
All right.
You hand me this, no questions asked, and I can hook you up with this amount of money. It is not a specific amount. Well, it is a specific amount, but I'm not going to say it because I don't want to mess up this economy. And it is more like you think he's joking.
You're just, you know what? I've had this happen before. You're gonna get the wire transfer going, and as soon as I go get it, you're gonna cancel it out. I have to walk all the way back here, probably get kicked out by security. This will be the first time that I've been gypped by someone with a nice suit.
Well, then, would you prefer it in cash?
Yes.
So he does the same thing. The vault opens up, and you see it open, and it's like this golden light washes over you as you see all the money inside.
Angels sing in the
I
background.
drool a bit.
He
I just kind of wipe it with my sleeve, just not before anyone notices. Just
Like he grabs a couple of stacks, counts them carefully, and then wraps a rubber band around it and holds it out to you.
I will gladly swipe them up, and I will put them in my ratty backpack, which actually looks very different considering I'm dressed nicely and my backpack just looks like absolute garbage.
Nice.
But
All
I
right,
will
so
put them in my backpack, and I will say, "Pleasure doing business," and
he's gonna
have a
say,
good day.
"Don't spend it all in one place."
I'm not sure what I'm going to spend it on. And he kind of rattles off what he's going to spend it on as he's leaving. Just kind of maybe another bed, probably nice clothes, blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm. So, as you're leaving, and as Arsenal is entering, so Arsenal, you're like nearish the entrance,
Yes.
and several trucks pull up outside of the building.
Okay.
Several trucks pull up, and the crowd kind of like parts, and it's like some muttering. It's like, oh, what are they doing here? And several people start to pile out of the vans. These do not look like normal customers. They're not wearing suits and fancy dresses. They are wearing some ratty overalls and bulletproof vests.
Okay.
And they are going to start pushing through the crowd towards the auction house.
I move out of their way before they get to where I'm at. I don't want to bring any attention to myself,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm kind of keeping an eye on what's going on.
Yes. So they're going to shove past you. And like, and one of them's going to,
Yeah, I just go with it and get out of the way. I just get out of the way. Just looking
okay.
really nervous.
Yeah. So they shove through the crowd. And now, with Ben and Scrap, you're just exiting your respective buyers and sellers when you see these guys starting to come down the hallway towards the auction house.
And
that's
they're
not
armed and everything.
Mm-hmm. They are armed. And
Oh.
let me give you an example of what they look like for a second here. I will bring one up for you. It looks somewhat like that on the main page. So these guys look like they're muscling their way towards Raleigh himself.
That's extra not good.
That's not. I just made a name for myself. This is the last thing I need. Well, I guess I can make a bigger name for myself. I mean, it's obviously a bunch of rich people in here, right?
Yes.
And they probably want these guys are obviously making trouble. I'm making the quick list in my head, right? Making trouble. Got guns. I don't like the way they look at me. Their sunglasses are dumb. And I can probably get a reward or a nice place to sleep for a while if I just punch one of their lights out.
Mm-hmm. So,
Ooh.
as they step into the main auction, one of them fires up in the air and people start panicking a bit. And as this happens, so Hitori, you have been drifting through space for the past several millennia.
More than that.
Yes. Well, you've been drifting in this specific direction for a few millennia.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've been probably drifting from the Alpha Centauri system for the last 427 billion years. I've done the math. There's not a lot to do in space, yeah.
Yes. And after having so much nothing to do for quite a long time, you feel this weird kind of energy coming from this small mud ball orbiting a star nearby. Seems like it might be an interesting thing to check out.
I mean, I was heading this way for some reason.
Yes.
Before most life even formed here.
Mm-hmm.
3,000 years later, you arrive.
Yes!
Everyone is dead.
3,000 years later, you arrive.
I mean,
And
I got to Alpha Centauri around the time that it formed, and then I started going this way because there was nothing there. Because you remember, I've known more things than you guys will ever know. I just forgot. God, there's so much time between doing things and not doing things. Billions and billions of years that there's nothing to keep my
Only
mind.
6 billion. I mean, no need to exaggerate.
427 billion. No exaggeration required. Your planet was forming by the time I started moving in this direction.
I was
Nothing-
conquering empires before you could spell your name.
I mean, I had like a muffin for breakfast.
But yeah, with nothing to keep the mind occupied, you start forgetting things, especially without anything to recite them through. So I have forgotten most things.
So
You know,
you
I was just gonna make a comment. Go ahead. Never mind. I was just making a silly comment.
silly comments are good.
Yeah, make it.
I was gonna say you only count the spare hydrogen atom so many times before you get bored with it.
Spare hydrogen. I've been counting dark matter.
It's really hard to see.
In the
Yeah.
shadow realm.
And at some point you forget what it is.
Yeah. So when you finally start approaching this planet, you can see that it looks quite gray. It's just blue, gray, and a tiny bit of green splattered all around. But something in particular is pulling you towards a small part of the planet, somewhere where things aren't quite right. Things seem out of balance now. It's different than a lot of other celestial bodies you've seen because those are kind of sterile and, they can be predictable. Like you can expect what's going to happen on them.
It would also be
But-
so much smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
But
celestial
this-
bodies are massive.
Mm-hmm. But this little planet seems to be very odd. And you're kind of honing in one particular area where it seems to be the strongest. And that area is Megacity 4. So, as you approach, you feel like after being alone for so long, you start to feel this like overwhelming presence, like these multitudes and multitudes of people that you're like, oh, jeez, there's so many of them. What are these? I assume because you may have forgotten time between stars.
Yeah, it's life. I
Mhm.
recognize life. At the same time, I recognize that they're all collections of life. Cells upon cells. Atoms moving together!
Yes. And as you realize that, you sense there's a great disturbance amongst them in one small area. The area known as Raleigh's Purveyance as an auction.
Yes, I've heard of this Raleigh. Before time began, Raleigh was known to me.
Raleigh echoes through the eon.
I see all parts of my past and future, and some of it makes me really regret things I'm going to do, but I do them anyway. Particularly at this place.
Yes. So, as you slowly swoop down towards the area, things are starting to escalate a bit in the Emporium. People have started to kind of scatter as these armed thugs are going to be entering the building. And they appear to have blocked off the exit, though, so none of them can escape. The people inside are going to start shouting various obscenities at the people inside. When one in particular finally steps up to Rowley himself on the dais and says, "Rowley, you are hereby accused of oppressing the underclass of Megacity 4. How do you plead?" And Rowley's going to kind of, well, I don't know what you mean. I'm just a simple businessman. And this person's going to go, silence! Your artifact and your technologies have been wielded by the upper class to destroy the simple working people of this city. And the rest of the goons are going to kind of clamor and jeer a little bit at him. And it's like, do you deny these facts? And Rowley's going to kind of swallow and go, well, I have to make a living somehow. A living? You call crushing the backs and spirits of the working a living? He's like, I don't. And this person's going to push him down to the ground and is going to pull out a gun.
Okay, wait.
Yeah.
Am I by a chair?
Yes.
Chair? I want to throw a chair at the man who's doing all the yelling. Because fuck this guy.
All right, make a throw.
I actually have no idea how to make a throw before.
All right, I need to move us to a blank thing so I can show what's going on.
I gotta look stuff up too. Let's see.
Yes.
Is throw just straight up agility or be dexterity?
I believe it is dexterity, unless you have more skill with it.
No, I don't. I have no range combat at all. So I'm just hucking a chair.
All right, so I'm going to start. So everybody place their tokens on this map, please.
Wait, how do I get my token? I'm sorry.
So you would go to the journal and you'd pull it onto the map.
Oh, look at that. And it all looks all in fancy. I didn't know. Hold on, I gotta make it fancy. Let's see here. Yeah, fuck it. Whatever. It'll be like this for now.
Okay. So you're there. Oh, I don't have a thing for Rowley. Okay. This Mr. Test is going to be Rowley for now.
Perfectly fine.
All right.
Just got to set up a stage and a small little auction room.
So you just move you a bit farther back because it'd be making a bit of a perimeter around there. Okay. So you're going to throw a chair at this man.
I want to throw a chair at that man.
Okay. Huck that chair.
All right, let's see if I can't huck that chair with my 3 dexterity. All right. Wamu. Nope.
All right.
You make a bit of a distraction with the chair.
Yeah, so
that
you
chair is flying regardless.
So the chair is going to go flying. The guy up on the dais is going to look up and just kind of easily sidestep the chair, and is going to point at one of the goons. Is like, take care of that kid. And this guy's going to take a step towards you. He's like, come here, son.
I punch him.
All right.
I just...
Seeing that all hell is broken loose, I believe it's time for music change.
Oh yeah, start the fight theme.
So,
And the downside of being the tech guy, I have nothing on me.
well, I'd say you could probably say that you could contact Epic in some way.
Okay, I didn't know if that was going to be a viable option, so I wasn't building that into my character mindset.
There are also more chairs.
There are
Oh,
always more chairs.
The flying suitcase model.
Yeah.
Well, this is the Mark 1, you know?
Yeah.
Send the Mark II.
All right, scrap. This guy's not really expecting it. Not really expecting to put up a fight, so give it your best shot.
Okay.